happening. I can definitely say also from our production side of things, that it is being incorporated for one of our clients, like essentially, especially when it comes to like quick versioning, right? When it's like
Yeah, be able
just
to take the
exactly
master asset and blow it out like 450 versions for
right,
customization or
right.
all the different places that the creative needs to live.
Or just
Yeah.
like different product offerings, right? It's like,
Oh,
or
yeah, yeah.
pricing.
Uh-huh.
This model is now this, da, 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 and it's fascinating to watch because I mean, you're watching a commercial and not none of those people are real,
That's
right?
great. Hey, how's it going, everybody? And welcome back to another edition of the Ad Podcast. We are in studio today in beautiful Los Angeles, California. It's Good Friday, and we've got a really fun guest for you guys today. Grace Teng is a senior media and marketing executive with over 20 years of experience in advertising, digital strategy, and political media. She is partner and chief media officer at Zambezi and its media arm Scale by Zambezi, where she leads media strategy and growth for major global brands. Over the course of her career, Teng has held leadership roles at companies including DS Political, Mindshare, and BBDO, working with brands such as Lexus, KFC, Goldman Sachs, to name a few. She is known for her data-driven approach to media and her ability to blend creative storytelling with performance marketing. Grace, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
So fun to have met you originally at F1 at Adweek,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
right.
earlier in the year. And we got to see each other the other day when my daughter was in the agency starring for a Beekeeper's Natural spot. So
Yes.
kind of a funny
And she looks
synergy.
great, by the way. I don't know if you've
Oh,
seen it
I haven't
yet.
seen yeah, I saw some outtakes that my wife got
Okay.
from the set. But so do you guys have the media too?
We do not have the media for that
Okay,
one. That
got it.
was a project. Yeah.
Nice. But you guys are seeing some stuff pop up.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it. So want to get into your background and really start with your origin story, but
Sure.
on every show somebody gets a gift. So I've got the
Ooh.
new Lost in relaunched Amsterdam edition. So you doing any international travel this summer?
I actually am.
All
I'm going to
right.
be heading to Cannes.
Okay, well, I'll be at Cannes too. So now you got a
Okay.
reason to pop over to Amsterdam and check all the
Yeah, this is
all
perfect.
the things that we've got to offer. So
Thank you.
awesome. So I know I just read your very impressive bio, but why don't we start at the beginning? So where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school? And what
Sure.
got you into the media and marketing world?
Okay. So I grew up in Torrance, California.
Let's go.
So not that far from here. Local LA,
Let's
believe it or not.
Not very many people can
That
say
is
that,
right.
right?
Exactly. So grew up in SoCal and then I went to school at UCLA.
Nice.
As my undergraduate, and I have a economics and a computer specialization degree. So I programmed, which I
Wow.
actually enjoyed. And then I graduated, and I was like, "Oh, what do I do?"
Was it a tough economic climate when you
It
graduated?
was, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, it was a downturn at the time, and
Yeah.
I would say the majority of my friends, being econ major, that's
Yeah.
as close as we can get in business.
Hmm.
They went into consulting and
Okay.
iBanking at the time and M&A. And so most people went to Deloitte, and basically had a job by the time they finished their first quarter.
Big Four and
Exactly.
Wall Street
Exactly,
and
all of
finance
that,
pretty
right,
much. Okay.
exactly, and instead of that, I went studying abroad.
Oh, that's
So I went to
cool.
Singapore, which was
Wow.
amazing, and of course changed my worldview,
Yeah.
and it was such an amazing time, and I came back and I was like, "Oh, wait, people were thinking about their careers? Oh, you already have jobs?" Like, oh, and at that time, I actually moved home too because I needed to save money. I studied
Yeah.
abroad. I spent it getting loans to do so.
That's kind of the trend now, right? The boomerang kids.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, just from a finance perspective, I financed quite a bit of college myself too. So it's like if I wanted
Okay.
to go study abroad, there had to be some give.
Yeah.
So, I had this amazing world experience. I went to all these different countries, met international folks. I came back and was like, okay,
Now it's all kicking in.
yes. And I'm back at mom and dad's house and I got to find a job and I got to graduate. And so what I did was I read the book, What Color is Your Parachute, which I
Oh,
highly recommend
okay.
for people
Yeah, yeah.
graduating. And I just wrote down what are my strengths, like what do I love doing, and I did a lot of informational interviews. So the natural path for me should have been in consulting, but I decided not to do that because I didn't want to wear a suit.
It's so funny. I always say the best sales job in the world is finance, but I think the second best is advertising, and we don't have to wear suits.
It's true.
We're creating our entire careers based on the casualness of dress code, by the way, everybody at home.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Well, I mean, I guess
it's more of a
also
cultural thing, though, right?
exactly, and
Yeah.
that's the thing is I was excited about ideas, and I love being around creativity, and I love being around I don't know, just like being inspired. And, when I was watching my friend's interview, I mean, it was good, but I just wasn't inspired. But my mind naturally works that way. Like,
Mhm.
honestly, like all the things that I do is very consultative in terms of the way I think, but that's not what I wanted to do. So I did a lot of informational interviews. And look, I mean, my parents are immigrants. Like, it's that immigrant story. They literally came here with nothing. They worked their way up. I
Wow.
mean, my dad was a dishwasher when he
Where's your
was.
family from?
My mom is from Hong Kong and my dad's from Taiwan.
Okay, got it.
And my dad was a dishwasher when he was getting his master's degree in mechanical engineering.
Wow, that's
So, I mean, he was
crazy.
literally learning
Like
how to send things into
legit
space.
American
Yes, exactly.
story.
And there he is behind this, in the steakhouse, like just trying to make some cash. So,
So wild.
so yeah, so it's like, it's not like we had any connections. And I did grow up squarely middle class, and I'm very grateful for that, but it's not like we knew folks and, engineer, lawyer, doctor were the paths of my career. And I was like, I will not do that. And I will not go into consulting. So I was at a loss. And
You're a rebel.
honestly, I was a wild child. I mean, I had good grades, but yes, from
Yeah.
their eyes, I was just like as
You
wild as
weren't
wild can be.
conforming to kind
No,
of the traditional, sometimes immigrant families want you to kind of go into safe
exactly,
careers that are kind of known.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
You hear that story so many times.
yeah, exactly. You come here and you just have bigger dreams,
Yeah.
even though I'm doing so well, mom and dad, trust me, I'm doing really well. And so I just did a lot of informational interviews, and I just met with people all over. So I started off with UCLA's alumni network,
Yeah, I was going to say,
and
did that come in handy?
yeah, and I basically just reached out to people who were about 15, 20 years out because I'm like, they stayed in that career for a reason. There's
Yeah, good point.
longevity.
Yeah.
And then after I got an understanding, I was like, okay, marketing sounds really interesting. Then I was like 10 years and up. And then I went finally when I was like, I actually, my next door neighbor, he actually is now an executive at Sony, and he was in advertising. And I ended up talking to his dad. Long story short, his dad's like, my son's here. Like, you should just, catch up. And he was the one who told me about advertising. He was at Shy a
Interesting.
Day, and he worked on the Taco Bell campaign at the time
Oh.
with Drop the Chalupa, you know?
Yeah.
So then
That was
I
a
was,
big campaign back then.
yeah, it was huge. And he was just like, it's a fun environment. People bring their dogs. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, that's what I'm talking about. And I was like, I'm good with numbers. I'm good with communicating. Like, how do I get in? He's like, you sound like you might be somebody who's interested in media.
Nice.
And that's the first I had ever heard of it. So then I used my network, and then I started to talk to people who were like 1 to 3 years out. And then I found that those were people who actually knew about the entry-level jobs.
Yeah, they knew it was opening up.
Exactly. I found that the people who are 10 years and up, they didn't quite know.
Yeah. This
They're
is
like,
a master's class for that 25% of kids who are unemployed right now
I
coming out
mean,
of school. Like, you need to have a strategy.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I would wake up and my job was looking for a job,
I love
right?
that.
Like literally from 8 to 5 or whatever it was,
Yeah, it's
I
not
just
post something on Indeed and then hope
no.
that the job fairy comes knocking,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And the thing is, what the book taught me is it's all about relationships.
Yeah.
And then it also has this image that I still see where it says, no, like looking for a job. It's like, no, and no. It's a page full of no's. And at the very bottom right, there's a big red yes.
Mhm.
So anytime I heard like, oh, I can't, or I'm busy, or they didn't respond, I just like, cool.
Yeah.
One no,
It's a sales process, right?
one no
It's like
knocked
you're filling the
away.
pipeline and you're getting some interest here and there. And,
Yeah, I guess
some are
so.
turning to RFP phase,
Sure.
and then a percentage of them, hopefully that one
Yeah.
converts,
I guess it's true. I
Yeah.
never thought of it that way, but I mean, literally, I guess that's one reason I'm in growth,
Yeah,
like
totally.
it's that mindset. So yeah, so that's when I first heard about media. And then I started off as an assistant media buyer at BBDO.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So BBDO, back in the day, so flash forward to today, BBDO is mainly known as a creative shop. So
Correct.
did they have media kind of separately within BBDO? Was that before like the OMD days, or how did that
Right.
work?
So actually, they had a building in Westwood at the time,
Oh,
and they had
wow.
just moved the creative to San Francisco.
Got it.
But at that time, media was in the office, and this is for Daimler Chrysler.
Oh,
So it was like the
interesting.
whole,
Yeah.
confluence of all the auto brands at that time.
Amazing.
And then I was a buyer for 3 months. And then the first day I walked into my boss's office, I said, this is really interesting that we're executing this way, but like, why are we doing this? Who's the target audience? And like, why, like, I'd love to better understand the thinking behind it. And then she's like, that's when I knew you were going to leave because you're a strategist.
Interesting.
Right. And
So you did pretty quick.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like if you're a buyer, you're like, cool, let me go execute. Let me find the best way to like make this work. Right.
Yeah.
And I was just, I wanted more. So
You
then
wanted to
right
know
after
the why
that,
behind it.
exactly. I need to know the why. And then so soon after, then I went to Deutsch as an assistant media planner.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
How long did you stay at Deutsch?
I was there for 2 years,
Okay.
2.5 years or so.
Nice.
Yeah, I was there for
Okay.
some time, and then went to Team One. Yeah.
How
And
was it working on Team One? Obviously, were you doing Lexus business
I
back then
was.
too?
Yeah,
So was
exactly.
auto kind of a through line, for your career before
Yeah.
bringing us up to current?
Well, kind of. So at Team One, I mean, at Deutsche even, it was Mitsubishi at the
Okay,
time,
yeah.
but also Cece's Pizza.
Oh,
So
nice.
that was like really interesting. I was working really closely with Kyle Kistapace, who I love and I actually still, keep in contact with. And then at Deutsche, it was Lexus, but also Ritz-Carlton
Oh,
as
nice. Yeah,
well.
because
Yeah,
Team One's known as like the luxury portfolio for
correct.
within Publicis, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, at that time, it was the first time the LDA went online because that's when the
Mm,
digital space was still, burgeoning, if you will. So I helped led that process from literally I mean, it was from 0 campaigns, and I think the next year we had, like, 314 media campaigns that were live across those, I think it was, like, 214 DMAs. So, yeah, it was a really wild it was a wild time for back then. We're like, "Oh my gosh, so many digital campaigns."
That's wild. And then
Yeah,
from the transition, I would imagine. So,
yeah.
I think I read somewhere here, spent some time at WPP as well at Mindshare.
Sure, yeah, so then
How
okay,
was
after
it?
Team 1, then I
Yeah.
moved to New York.
Oh, okay. So
Right.
you went back east.
Yeah, I did, yeah, so basically, I applied for business school and then or I was gonna move to New York City. I'm
Mhm.
like, "Either way, I'm gonna leave California and just have a experience
You just wanted
outside."
to try something different. I mean, you grew up
Exactly.
here too. You had been
Exactly.
exposed to like cities like Singapore,
That's
which are
right.
like huge metropolitan hubs, and
Right.
LA is that way, but it's different, right? It's like its own
Exactly.
thing.
Exactly, and I actually just really wanted public transportation. I
So
I like
good.
walking,
Yeah,
and
I
I
hear
like
you, man. Walkable
efficiency,
cities
you know?
is a big deal. I mean, we got stuck in traffic trying to get to this interview,
Exactly.
right? So,
Yeah, so I went to New York. So I didn't make it to business school.
yeah.
I interviewed at Wharton, Kellogg, a few others, and then I didn't make it. So I'm like, all right, then I'm going to move to New York City.
Nice.
So then I was at Mindshare, Media Edge. I was on the sales side at a company called Beta Wave that went under in '08.
Okay.
And then, well, I left and I traveled for my friends and I said in 2010, all three of us are going to quit our jobs and we're going to give up our apartments and we're just going to travel for 3 months.
Wow.
So
Where'd you guys go?
we went to China, India, Turkey, Greece, and Egypt.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it
Was
was
that
amazing.
transformational for you?
I think it was, yeah, yeah. I mean, first of all, I just found out that I like business.
Mhm.
Like, I was reading Bloomberg for fun on vacation. Like,
No one
what
does
a
that.
nerd, right? Like, everyone was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "But this is so amazing." And then I'm like, "We should go check out Bangalore because, like, they have Infosys, and Infosys is supposed to be like Google." And my friends are like, "No, we are not doing that. No, first of all, you're a crazy person. You're gonna show up at a company, they're gonna think you're nuts. Like, no."
So funny.
So that was really eye-opening for me,
Yeah.
just being like, "Oh, I like business."
I love it. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been in travel media for about a year and a half now, and it's uh it's very exciting to, have that travel component
Sure.
for the gig. It's like I always thought media was the greatest thing, and then when you get into travel media, it's like, oh, okay, and like
Yeah,
now your aperture opens because travel is global.
exactly.
Like people, yes, there's great places to travel to in America and North
Yeah,
America, but most Americans want to travel abroad.
right.
So when you're targeting US audiences, you're oftentimes targeting things that are outside of America. So right before the holidays, I did Philippines,
Oh, nice.
London, Cabo, and Cancun in
Oh,
4 weeks.
wow.
It was
Oh,
crazy.
wow.
Yeah. And I used to not travel internationally at all,
Okay.
but there's something about it that just like, I feel like it just brings the world together. You kind of like, you get out of this political bubble of like, people are
Yes.
different. It's like, no, we're just
Yes.
all human beings. Everybody wants the
Exactly.
same thing. They just want their
Exactly.
kids to have a better life than them, whether
Sure.
you're, somebody who's living in a slum in the Philippines or in Cebu City, or whether it's like somebody super well off in London, it's like we
Yeah,
all kind of want the same thing. So,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like, we're really kind of all in it together,
Yeah,
right? So,
100%.
yeah. Yeah.
So you came back from that awesome road trip, and
Yeah.
then what happened next?
Well, at that time, I was debating as to whether or not I should move to Shanghai or Beijing. Like, that was like a whole
Mhm.
burgeoning, of like,
Yeah.
I'm like eats meat, the eats meets the West type of thing, right? Like, how
Yeah.
do I leverage it? Like, how? And then I went there and I was like, okay, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to move again. I had just moved to New York, it's
Yeah.
already a big move. So I decided to go back to New York City. And then that's when I started with Mindshare on Goldman Sachs.
Oh,
And so
nice.
that was very interesting because that was '08. No, wait, 2010 is when. So no, okay, yeah. So it's already been hit, but
So you're coming out of the financial
yes,
crisis.
exactly. I'm
Yeah.
coming out of the financial crisis at that point. Yeah. So yeah, so I just started working at Mindshare, had a really great experience there. And then Goldman, they tend to hire a lot of consultants,
Yeah.
especially during that time period. And they never had a communication problem, if you will, before, but because they did so well in the financial crisis. And it was the first time in their career that they would walk out and say, "Oh, I'm from Goldman," and everyone's kind of like,
Yeah,
"Oh,"
there was this government Sachs thing where it's like it's a revolving door with Washington D.C. It kind
which,
of got this name,
sure,
yeah, this
exactly.
branding attached to it. Yeah.
Exactly. So, we worked on the comms with them, and there's some guys that they had hired in politics. And I was just like, I reached out to one of them, was like, hey, like I'm happy to volunteer. I know Barack's, office is in there is an office in Brooklyn. And and then they wrote back and they were just like, actually, would you like to run our media in DC?
Whoa.
We have a digital shop. Are you interested in checking it out? And so I was like, okay, let me just go. And I'm one for taking risks,
Yeah,
and the next thing I know, like, I'm, out in DC.
crazy.
Yeah, starting out with Bully Pulpit Interactive.
How was
Yeah.
that experience?
It was very interesting.
Yeah, I've had a few dabbles, like you, kind of like more of a traditional media background, but have dipped into politics a few times. I opened for my very first agency. I opened up the Washington D.C. office, the political desk, we called it.
Okay.
And I remember going to my first media post, or it was like media post or Digiday political advertising conference.
Yeah,
And the thing that was the most eye opening is like, this was in the time of like just standing up like GDPR and like all
sure.
these like privacy
Oh,
regulations, and
yeah.
California is starting to do its thing. And then one of the things that I learned, standing up that DC office is like, there are no rules.
Yeah,
If you can do it with
exactly.
technology, you're allowed to. They don't have to follow any of the same privacy. It's like basically like if you can invent it
Yeah,
and you can target people and you can figure out the technology part, have at it.
yeah,
Basically, I was like, wow, this is wild. And the other thing is like talk about accountability. Like you have to spend the money because
right,
literally your like if your campaign ends,
right,
it's over, and like you got to spend everything you got and get it out there as
right.
fast as possible. So I never worked on a campaign,
Mhm.
even like a Senate race. I mean, I did some like local stuff here in LA, and some propositions here and there, but mainly we did the political advocacy stuff. So working for like Nation of Israel or American Petroleum
Okay.
Institute or like PACs, but we
Yeah,
would take
sure.
money from both sides. We weren't like politically aligned. We
Okay,
were
I
just kind of
see.
general market. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was fascinating just to like see the
Yeah.
the rules.
It's a different world, different world. So then I also then built the infrastructure for DS Political as well. So
Wow,
at that time, I think it was like maybe 5 people and then brought it up to 20
that's
plus,
crazy.
during a cycle. So yeah, I mean, it was definitely an experience, and
Yeah,
I'm glad I had a chance to be in DC and see it. That being said, I don't think that was necessarily my world. I was
no
very
going
happy,
back.
very happy for corporate. I was like, "Oh, corporate is wonderful."
Yeah.
So I went to New York and actually was in the private equity turnaround business with Cerberus
Wow.
for a hot minute.
Okay.
Yeah, on Avon when they purchased Avon. So that was fascinating to see
I
from
can
an owner's
imagine.
perspective,
Yeah.
like what that looks like, and just helping out from the digital side, right? For social media, like what the apps look like, what the UX UI looks like. And then after that, I'm like, okay, it's time to go home.
Yeah.
you know, um, my family is here,
Yeah.
friends from college are still here. I was living out of a suitcase really at a
Yeah.
certain point. So,
The traveling lifestyle,
yeah,
is fun when you're young, but
right.
eventually kind of catches up with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, my friend was getting married, and I literally was like, "Send the invite to my parents' house because I don't know where I'm
Wow.
gonna be." So,
That's wild.
so finally I was like, "Okay, I need to set roots." So I came back to California, and then I got introduced essentially to Zambezi.
That's amazing. So how
Yeah,
long have you been with them?
for almost 8
That
years.
is cool. That's a long
Yeah,
run. Is that your
yeah,
longest run?
by
Let's
far,
go.
by far,
So
yeah.
tell me about, how did they find you, or how did you find them? What was attractive about Zambezi, and what do you think accounts for your long tenure there?
Sure. I would say so. I've freelanced in between. So usually, oftentimes, like there's different things that popped up. And when I first came back, I freelanced at Team One, and Kyle Kistapache, who I mentioned, actually knew Gene, and he was like, "Hey, look, like there's this person I know. We've kept in contact throughout the years. She looks like she needs some media help. Like, do you want to talk to them?" And I said, "Sure, why not? Let's give it a shot." So that I just got connected through connections. How
Yeah,
it
yeah.
usually works, and then And then once we started talking, it was I thought it was going to be just like a consulting type of thing, and she was like, actually, we're thinking about building a media practice. Like,
Wow. So
do you
they
think you can do
hadn't
it?
done anything yet.
No,
Media. Wow. Because
no,
they've always
nothing.
been kind of started off as like sports agency,
Correct.
Kobe's agency
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
OG
Yeah,
days, and have always had a foot in that world, but have obviously expanded into so many other amazing categories like LPL and the work that you guys
exactly.
just put out. But not known as a really hot, a bit fiercely independent,
Correct.
female-owned creative shop here in LA.
Correct,
Yeah.
right, and with very strong brand strategy and same with production,
Yeah.
right? Because Finn, there's a really strong production arm that
Yeah.
comes with it. And at that point, yes, sports is definitely a core, and there's also expansion. At that time, it was like Venmo, Vitamin Water, so like all these like CPG, Auto Trader, like there was the core of sports that helped build everything, and it still contains. But there's as different opportunities opened up, it's definitely expanded
That's
as well,
awesome.
and that's what I was walking into, and I was like, oh wow, this sounds great. And at the end of the day, I had done so many things, and I'm like, I just want to do great work with great people.
Mm.
I mean, that's it. Like, are you guys cool? Cool. You guys want to do cool things? Cool. Like, let's do
Yeah.
something,
You kinda
like
get to your age eventually where, like, the people are so important to the equation.
exactly.
It's like,
Exactly.
yeah.
And I love team, like I played basketball in high school. Like, I was president of community services at my community service club, and it's always been like, how do we build together? So
Mm,
yeah, I think that's like just really a core value, essentially.
I love it.
Yeah, so then fast forward, started at Zambezi, and then we went from 0 to 40 million, like, in 3 years,
That's
essentially.
crazy.
I
That's a
mean,
big run.
yeah, it's wild, really, and, I mean, the growth was just tremendous. I mean, and again, it was just myself who started, and so, initially, I just started going with the creative just to, like, go to the pitches, just to
Just have
represent
another
media.
voice
Yeah,
and kinda
exactly,
see
just
if you guys could edge it in.
yeah, yeah, or
Yeah.
I mean, just to, like, learn and, yeah, just to help
Yeah.
show that we're thinking about the market, and I wanna say, like, maybe the first 2 meetings I was in, they ended up giving us the media.
Wow. And were these like formal pitches where you were being brought in by like a
Y
consultant and pitching against like, the whole
Mhm.
boardroom thing where you come in with boards and 5 different agencies pitch and all that
Yeah, I
stuff?
mean, it was a formal pitch, but it wasn't through a search
Oh, okay,
consultant.
got
A
it.
lot of those were just, like, we were up against other agencies, and I just put together some ideas of, like, how it could come to life, and yeah, so, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised, but I was also like, "Oh my gosh.
Now you
Oh
gotta
my
stand this
god.
thing up you just sold in the
Now
room.
how do I do this?" And I was like, I mean, I guess this is far enough where I'm like, we don't do they know I don't have a team?"
Well, it's so much, I mean, you hear those stories all the time, right? It's like agency divisions are literally birthed out of just like client says I need
Sure.
XYZ, or you're in the
Right.
room and you sell an idea and
Yeah.
then you go back and you staff it up and you figure it out, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so now fast forward, I mean, we're a team of, I wanna say, like, 15 people or so.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
I think
All sitting
actually
here in
more.
LA or some in the other
All here in
offices?
LA.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just best I mean, especially, like, the way media works, and then, we also have assistant media planners that are here in the US.
Yep.
No dig on other places, they're
Sure,
not in
sure.
India.
Well,
But
totally. I mean, yeah, no, you're right. I mean,
yeah.
I think that's a big kind of um, strength of the indie
Sure.
experience right now
Yeah.
is that so much has been outsourced through the holdco style relationships. Is like they have entire people's jobs or that are
Right.
dedicated to figuring out like how do they move
Yeah.
non-client facing roles into automation and or cheaper labor markets. So that's a big
Right.
deal, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
huge, and look, it does make sense to a certain point, right?
Yeah.
Like, there are efficiencies, but, I think the way we operate, our team is completely integrated,
Mm.
in terms of, like, understanding all the media types, and the people who are doing the strategy are also the people who are executing.
Wow. So you got to do
So
strategy and buying.
exactly, exactly. So what I think that's actually been a huge strength, and because we don't have any other publisher, contracts, if you will, we're not beholden
Yeah.
to
You guys don't have these
that.
massive upfronts and these
Exactly.
commitments that you
I
have to
mean,
fulfill and
we
these.
are talking about, like, "Hey, how do we help, get, like, better rates for our clients," type of thing, but at the same but it's not like we need to hit this a certain amount.
Yeah.
So, we're very free,
Yeah.
to do
You
what's
can
truly
really put
best.
put the best plan forward that makes the
Exactly.
most sense for the
That's
strategy
right.
and doesn't have any political ends.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So is most of the media attached to creative or AOR work, or do you have completely separate media accounts in some instances?
Yeah, I would say both.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
nice.
actually, we specifically rebranded to Scale by Zambezi, I want to say about 4 years ago.
Yep.
And it's because we wanted people to know that we were doubling down on media.
Nice.
Because media, you have your own processes, you need your own tools. I mean, it's just a different way of working. And I wanted people to know, like, hey, we're serious. Like,
Yeah.
this is truly like our chop. So we have our integrated clients, like UKG came in integrated, like LPL is integrated.
Nice.
And then from a media-only perspective, or I should say Liquid IV is also integrated. But from a media-only perspective, we have G Fiber, Health Aid Kombucha,
Yep.
and then initially, like, Liquid IV came in through media, and then there was like a whole creative idea around it, so it's like it basically
There's
comes
a lot
like
of synergy that
exactly
sends both
both ways.
directions.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes
Yeah, and Health Aid Kombucha recently got purchased by Generous Brands. So we've been in with a few brands that have been purchased by different private equity firms, and we've been
You
able to
stuck around.
exactly, which is great.
And then infiltrate the rest of their clients,
That's,
hopefully.
look, we have a great product. We have a great product.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, we teased a little bit at the beginning of the meeting that we set up this, or the beginning of the show, rather, that we set this up when I was in your office or in the neighborhood the
Yeah.
other day. And I got an opportunity to walk up and see the office and
Yeah.
remember the OG office from Culver
Sure.
City. You guys didn't give up. How important has it been to be kind of back in the office with the team? What is your guys' current setup from like the whole like return to
Sure.
office thing? How's it going?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I would say we're a hybrid method,
Yeah.
which is, I think, great. So we have a little different departments coming in on different days just so that the groups are together. So the media team, we come in every Tuesday.
Nice.
And there's always a lunch and learn, which I think is great because the entire team comes together at least once a week. We get to hear something from an outside vendor.
So a publisher comes in.
A publisher, yes, that's right, comes in.
Or
and
somebody who has something to teach.
Correct.
Will basically exchange some time in
Exactly.
exchange for some food and drinks and a good conversation.
Exactly. And I
That's
would say
awesome.
the publisher community is very important to us.
Yeah.
Like they've been very supportive and some of our leads have even come from the publisher community as
Awesome.
well. So, and then they also give us a chance to do beta testing. They're just like, "Hey, we have this. We know you guys are nimble. We know your clients are
We have
nimble.
this
What
new
if we just try
feature.
exactly? What
Let's
if we
try it."
just try this out?" And then we're just like, "Sure, we're happy to do so." Yeah, so then to come back to the structure. So like the finance team like comes in on Wednesday. So like it's just kind of like broken up depending on like when people are in the office. But when we do have bites, we do encourage people to like be in the office together.
Yeah.
Bites is our monthly like
hang, like
exactly.
everybody comes together.
That's
for
right.
something.
And then there's just like, quick updates about the companies. There's like, hey, new news, new work that's being done, just to give like everybody an update as to birthdays and just really setting, I think, both the culture, but also a quick update as to things that are happening.
Love it. And you guys have multiple offices now too, right?
We do, yes. Yeah. So LA is our headquarters, and then LA is our headquarters, and then Minneapolis.
Nice.
We have a satellite office there, and Gene and Chris are based there.
Yep. Very cool.
I'd also note we are part of WPI, Worldwide Partners, as
Nice.
well.
Okay.
And so, we're part of this independent international
network, essentially.
exactly network,
Nice.
yeah, which is great.
And then, so is WPI Holdco, or is it more of is it like a true network effect?
I mean, it's
Tell me a little
truly
bit
it's a consortium of independent
that's pretty cool.
agencies
That's pretty cool.
globally.
Nice.
So, for example, with TaylorMade, a
Yeah.
creative client, like we need to do some work and like I know Korea and Japan, and so for example, the translations, right, and just being able to tap into the
version for different markets.
exactly the versioning and then the translations and all making sure that it's correct, and so we're able to just have a global presence. And it's with other independent agencies just like us.
That's cool. So that's not an ownership structure that owns you guys. It's more just a network that you guys can tap into
That's
for
correct.
global work
That's
and share
correct.
market stuff.
Right. And then Gene, our CEO is also part of the board there too. So
Very
it's like
cool.
we're very tight in there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we've made it, let's see here, 28 minutes without talking about AI.
Oh.
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's it's the unavoidable question
Sure.
These days. But I feel like last year's hype cycle was just like, do you have AI?
Right.
And then this year's kind of like buzzword coming off of Shop Talk was the last thing I was doing last week.
Okay.
Agentic seems to be, the hype train this
Of course,
year.
yeah.
Be curious, like, what's your take on agentic as a media professional? Are there platforms that you work with that you have agents out there executing
Sure.
tasks on your behalf?
Yeah.
Are you guys building agents internally for the
Mhm.
agency? Just be curious if you have a hot take on the agentic world that
Right.
is trying to gobble up
Yes.
everything, or at least is the current, soup du jour, as they say.
Right. So, I mean, as mentioned, we have lunch and learns every Tuesday, and then being at conferences, like I definitely hear a lot more about like the agentic space and how I would say, out of our programmatic publishers, if it's not been built already, it's definitely being built. I have heard from again, on the programmatic side for the most part, that they are testing it out with different agencies. We're definitely in conversation about what that looks like. We are all figuring out, I feel like, what it means from the media side of things. From what I've heard so far in terms of like the agentic like conversations between the two groups, like pretty basic things, right? Like in terms of targeting or just basic recommendations type of thing. But obviously it's a point of conversation for everybody as to like how to make that better, how to make it work for us. And, I think because we're integrated agency, like, yes, there's the media component, but also from a production side of things, what does that look like from a creative, from brand strategy, and then from an agency overall, what does that mean and what does that look like? So definitely all those conversations are happening. I can definitely say also from our production side of things, that it is being incorporated for one of our clients, like essentially, especially when it comes to like quick versioning, right? When it's like
Yeah, be able
just
to take the
exactly
master asset and blow it out like 450 versions or
right,
customization or
right.
all the different places that the creative needs to live.
Or just
Yeah.
like different product offerings, right? It's like
Oh,
or
yeah, yeah.
pricing.
Uh-huh.
This model is now this, da, 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 and, it's fascinating to watch because, I mean, you're watching a commercial and none of those people are real,
That's
right?
crazy. Yeah.
So it's like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah.
But I mean, we are able to get more out.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
So, I will say, things like I'm sure we've all seen it, there's, like, an extra finger here and there or, like,
Yeah, yeah.
the
Every
look
once in a while, something spins
so
up that
you still need
doesn't
to
look quite
check it,
right.
and I
Yeah.
think for a while, people are like, "Oh, actually, just put everything through AI," and it's like, "Yeah, but it doesn't have the look and feel that you're looking for," so it's you still need, like, the help, even with the versioning to make sure it looks right and, like, whatever, like, it's on brand and or especially since there's so much sports that we do, especially in this area, it's like that the players and all that other stuff still makes sense within the overall video, but that's definitely, something that's being moved quite a bit. Yeah, I guess coming back on the media side, I mean, it's definitely being explored.
What do you think is going to be the first? Is you think it's going to be optimizations? Is going
Oh,
to be the
yeah,
easy kind of like
I
low
think
hanging fruit?
so.
Yeah.
I think
And you talked
so.
about audiences. Like a lot of people are talking about the idea to be able, like, can you talk to your data? Right?
Right.
Can you have a conversation with your
Exactly.
data? And that's like the whole prompting thing, right? Like you can
Exactly.
be like, well, you got this closed ecosystem,
Yeah.
which is your data.
Right.
And then can you ask the data questions, right? So,
Exactly.
hey, data, like, how many days a week would you like to golf if
Exactly.
you could golf
Exactly.
and you didn't have to worry about work and just
Right.
like you can have this like free flowing conversation with the data?
Exactly.
That seems like an interesting development where you can kind of, maybe run some like more human insights almost in a way to the
Exactly.
data, so to speak.
Right, and we're also just revisiting our tools as well, right?
Hmm.
Obviously, tools is huge, and new media is based off of data, and so the fact that we are looking at some AI tools that will definitely help from strategy, planning, buying, all the way to essentially optimization. And the whole idea is like, if all the data is housed in one area, then like you can basically just kind of ask questions. And then
Hmm.
like, I mean, there's all these tools that are right now being like, what's the best reach and frequency based off of the models that you currently have, based off of this target audience, based off their consumer habits, like can you just start prompting more of this? And so I do think the way that every single client will definitely need the reporting and the optimization. There's
Yeah,
no doubt
that's the
there.
easy
So like
spots
yeah, so
or the
if we're
low
gonna
hanging fruit at least. Yeah.
exactly. So from my opinion, it's like let's start with something that we know that will help to push like with all of our clients, and then for all this other stuff, like, which I know is very important, and because everybody comes to us for our media strategy and our creative media, so, like, anything that it takes to, like, make our strategy better, I think that's where we should really focus on, and obviously having, like, a tool like this would help us, right? So we're definitely evaluating a number of them, and, yeah, so we're in the process of all of that now.
Have you seen anything recently that's been like mind blowing?
Well, I can say, like, we've talked to a few where I'm like, "Okay, I can see that this is really interesting," and what's interesting about, one of these companies in particular is that, they are a little bit more in the media space, so they do understand it, which is great, and, I mean, because it's all AI, obviously, it's just such a different it's just different, right? It's
Yeah.
it's all the prompts,
Uh-huh.
so So I thought that was good because there's other companies that we talk to where, I mean, they're either so early on. It's like, do you have a product? I mean, it sounds cool, and I
Yeah.
kind of see your demo. That's a screenshot.
Well, there's so many AI companies now.
Right.
Again, I keep going back to Shop Talk because it's like the most recent example
Sure.
in my mind. But I'm a little bit spray and pray with my podcast setup because I'm only there for 4 days and I want to try and book as many meetings as I can. So
Sure.
I've got a tool that tells me every speaker, every
That's a
attendee.
great
It's a really
idea.
nice one.
That's a
Um,
great
so I'll
idea.
just once I get that, TAM, if you
Right.
will, I'll just email 1,000 emails a day in bulk to try and recruit people for the interview. And man, I mean, there are so many AI
Wow.
companies out there now just trying
Right.
to
Right.
do this or that, and the e-tail commerce networks or media commerce networks and or retail media
Right.
networks. It's pretty crazy.
It is crazy, and I guess the other thing from our brands is, like, how do you show up in AI,
Yeah,
right? Like,
the
making sure that you're,
AEO
like,
stuff.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, AEO, all that kinda stuff, and so, even for us, like, actually, we just spoke to a search consultant yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and we were like, "Hey, so nice to meet you, like, how'd you hear about us?" She's like, "I found you guys via AI."
Oh, that's
And I
amazing.
was
That's good
like,
news.
"Great
Yeah.
news."
Uh-huh.
Like, okay, so we're showing up somehow, through
Yeah.
a prompt, which is great. So yeah, obviously the AEO part is like what people are talking quite a bit about, just making sure that
Yeah.
that's happening too.
Yeah, I'm a fan of AEO because, I feel like SEO was definitely gameable.
Mhm.
Like, if you invested the time and the effort into the backlinking strategy and the publishing strategy and the blogging strategy, but AEO feels, at least for the moment, a little bit more pure. Like,
Mhm.
it's like based on the actual content you put out and your PR efforts, and
Right.
are you optimized for the whole token optimization thing's a
Yeah.
little bit more math because these systems basically want to spend less money to find you.
Right,
So,
exactly.
but it feels a little bit more pure.
Yeah, I think for now. I
Have you
mean, kinda like SEO,
Did you
right?
notice,
Initially
did you
initially
notice that there's ads in ChatGPT now? I saw
yes.
my first one
Did you
yesterday.
really? Okay, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yes, exactly. So and also, I mean, in terms of weight, Wikipedia,
Uh-huh.
Reddit,
Yeah,
I
Reddit is big,
exactly,
right?
which makes
Yeah.
sense, right? And then,
YouTube
gosh, there
Shorts for Gemini.
so, exactly. So
Right.
they're all pulling from some of these very big sources take a large percentage in terms of the content that they then stream to answer your question.
Mhm.
So or to answer whatever your prompt is. And so ultimately, i- i- you know, then how do you do more within Wikipedia? How do so it's I don't know, it's interesting.
Yeah, and
It's
they also
interesting.
have different ethics, which is crazy. Like, I had this idea for April Fools. I was like, all right, I'm gonna pretend like the podcast got acquired by a larger
Oh,
podcasting network for
okay.
April Fools.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
first I went into Gemini and I said, can you say that Spotify bought the ad podcast and create like a celebratory
Okay.
image about it that I
Uh-huh.
could post on LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Like, Dylan, we cannot do that. Unfortunately, we cannot violate those copyright rules.
Oh,
And
wow.
we also, this isn't a true story, so
Right.
unfortunately we can't.
Okay.
It's like, all right, fine. ChatGPT just crashed. Like, I looked at it again this morning and it was
Uh-huh.
still thinking,
Spinning.
right? I was
Yeah,
like, all
okay.
right, how about Adobe Firefly, my old client? Boom, Adobe Firefly, no problem.
Oh, wow.
So,
Wow.
grabbed the image, threw it on LinkedIn,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then, freaked a bunch of people out. It's pretty fun.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
ethics, right? And
Yeah.
that's been an interesting thing for me is how do I feel like Google was just loyalty for so long, right? It's like you go to Google, you search for stuff.
Right.
You're not a Bing person, at
Right.
least maybe you're a DuckDuckGo person if you're really out there or whatever, but pretty much you're
Yeah.
Googling.
Right.
But I don't know about you, but I find I am very AI transient,
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
suppose, based on I was ChatGPT hardcore for a
Right.
while and then it crashed one day and I'm like,
Oh.
I need something. Oh, Twitter's open on the tab over. I'll try Grok.
Oh,
Wow.
interesting.
Grok actually pulls in personal information for
Wow.
podcast research.
Yeah.
Up, Grok's down. Oh, wait a minute. I've got Meta specs now and they're
Right.
hardwired through the hardware
Right.
into Meta AI. Okay, now I'm using Meta AI. And I heard Apple is coming next. And
Sure.
Apple, as they are always
Yeah.
very smart, they
Right.
wait and they're
Exactly.
just going to have a button where you
Right.
hit the button and it searches
Oh,
them all at the
wow.
same time.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I feel
Interesting.
like AI is very much more transitory than some of these other technologies.
Sure, right now, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I find that I start off very strong with ChatGPT, tested with Claude and then tested with Gemini, and now I tend to use Gemini more just because the whole system is
Oh,
Google,
you're
if you
on
will.
that
Yeah,
platform.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I do find there's certain things do better with others, so it's just a matter of, like, which ones. The other area within media is search. I mean, not search, but search
Mm,
and social, I should say the both of them, right? Like, I mean, clearly, especially from the social side, in terms of content and, so whether it's the targeting, I mean, you already see it being integrated, right, in the way that we're like buying through the platform itself. So, we'll see. I know there's Meta's also rolling out. We were just talking about it yesterday, how basically it's like you just have to, it's so much as creative based now at this point. They just want a lot of different versions and then they will find the audience for you. So it's
mm,
not like you match the creative with this. It's like, okay, give us me, instead of like 3 version or 20 versions and then with this each audience, give me 50 versions of creative and then we will figure out like who it should go to.
wow.
So, yeah, I
That's
mean,
crazy.
it is crazy.
Yeah.
It's
Do you
crazy.
remember when Mark said, just swipe your credit card and that's all you have to do in the future? Like,
Right.
no creative, no campaign plan, just swipe your credit card, hit the button, and we'll do everything else.
That's crazy.
Do you think
Yeah.
we're still a ways away from that?
I mean, you still kinda wanna know,
It's a
like
lot of black boxing
yeah,
trust, right?
exactly, I think so, I
Yeah,
think so,
it's
yeah.
always weird when Meta, reports to Wall Street, "Hey, we've got 22% profit increase, but usage only went up by 9%, and we're building power plants, and we're investing in hardware, and we're investing in AI." Well, where'd the 22% growth come from?
Yeah,
Well, you just charged the clients more money
yeah,
because you've finally won the TV war, and you've
right,
got 51% of the budget now, so now
yeah,
you're ratcheting up when
right,
TV's ratcheting down.
right.
So
Yeah, yeah, social, obviously taking a big cut of that, the other one would be Amazon. Retail marketing,
yeah,
that's been quite the discussion in our industry, like, Scale is like an awareness agency, but that being said, we work with a lot of best in class partners, and,
mhm.
when you look at Amazon, I mean, in 2025, I think they were roughly 10%, a little bit more, so 60,000,000,000,
Wow,
of
that's
the
crazy.
spend, and, like, YouTube is at 34,000,000,000, so, I mean, when you look at that and also Amazon's, profile, if you will, I mean, yes, of course, there's Amazon Prime, but they've been, their
The TV
video, the
stuff
TV
is
st right?
getting
The TV
yeah, and the
shows, the
TVs are getting
movies.
TV's getting better too, where it's, like, interactive. Like, I don't know, have you ever hit the button on your TV and then Amazon gives you, like, an email about the product that you saw in the
I have
commercial?
not done that
I've not
yet.
done that either,
I have not
and
done
it's
that
but
yet.
I find it fascinating, and I have talked to other people in the industry that have hit the button. I guess
Okay.
I'm just skeptical, I'm not I don't like hitting buttons.
I know. Well, I've been talking last night too,
If you hit the
somebody
button, imagine how long that Amazon ad's gonna stalk you around the internet, right?
yeah. Exactly. Yeah, but they also have obviously Whole Foods, but also
Yep.
Wondery from an audio perspective, right? And with New
Yep.
Heights.
Mhm.
I mean, if you look at the portfolio, they also have IMDb, they have Twitch from a gaming
Yeah,
perspective.
they
So
get a
there's
lot of audiences
a
covered.
lot,
Yeah.
a lot. And they also have just invested so much on the upper funnel,
Mhm.
most recently. So I think just obviously tying that all together. And like even what was it? Like Walmart and Vizio was saying that they have to log in now, right? With your login for the TV because it's all connected to Walmart
For
data.
Walmart.
Yeah,
Oh, so you gotta
exactly.
log into you have to use your Walmart login to get into Vizio's
That's a good question.
smart
I don't know if
TV.
it's a it's connected somehow, but you do have to log in to Vizio.
Well, you can't
And
use Apple TV in Walmart or Apple Pay in Walmart. Did you know that? Like, I walked
it
in the
makes
other
sense to
day.
me.
I walked in there the other day to I don't know what it was, like, to get, like, s'mores or
Right.
something. Like, I never shop, and I never go into Walmart on
Yeah.
purpose, but I think we were going on a camping trip, so I needed
Sure.
to stop on the
Yeah,
way
yeah,
out,
yeah.
and I don't even carry my wallet anymore. I
Uh-huh.
just, like,
Wow.
carry it on my phone, and I walk into well, I think I had it in the truck at least because
Yeah, yeah.
in case I got pulled over or something. But, I went in to get these s'mores, got everything lined up. I'm like, "Oh, Apple Pay, right?" They're like, "Nope. See you
Yeah.
later." I was like, "Oh, okay, it's like that."
Yeah.
Makes
Yep.
sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, look, Walmart is also, I mean, huge, right? So we're talking about the retail marketing space. It's not just Amazon, it's Walmart Connects, it's Target Roundall. I mean, it's Instacart. and that's just within the retail space. Like, if
Yeah.
you think about it from beauty, it's like, okay, you have Amazon, but then you have Sephora, you have Ulta. If you think about pet foods, there's Chewy. I mean, literally, like, you
Crazy.
talk about, like, each category, it's like retail marketing is just not that one thing, but all these other things on top of it too.
So as a media buyer, is it getting crazy with like kind of is it feeling like the beginning of the internet where you used to have to cut an IO to every publisher, every website? Like, are we going to see programmatic consolidation of retail media the same way we did
Ooh,
for websites, or are they all going to try to keep their data separate, keep these walled gardens? I mean, at the end of the day, must make your job hard when wanting to buy the audience versus the
sure.
channel. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, they're all such big companies, I feel like if one becomes distressed, then I
Yeah.
think the likelihood is high. In the meantime, they're all gonna keep it as much as they can because, I mean, that first party data, right? Like, it is what it is, and so being able to have access to that is huge. From our perspective, I mean, because we're a creative in media shop,
Mhm.
and so many of our ideas are working with our publishers on coming up with, like, custom things.
Mm.
So for us, we still do a lot of, like, one-on-one, because we're brainstorming with our
Yeah.
partners, being like, "Hey, what can we do with
What's
Disney? What can we do?"
possible? How do we break
Exactly.
things? How do we try
Exactly,
things that
yeah.
are innovative?
Right, so for those, I mean, you still need the IOs, like,
Mhm.
from each publisher type of thing. Now that being said, like, we obviously do a lot of programmatic as well, just to, like, make sure we, like, round out and are able to reach
Yeah.
a number of people across, like, all the different
It's
devices
like
that are
scale on the
available.
one side, impact on the other, essentially. Yeah.
Exactly, right, and then that's where you can get your reach frequency, like, where you're able to, like, find the balance of both, so it's not just, like, only one big moment, which we also love, but then, like, so there's just the frequency that comes in with it afterwards.
Love it.
Yeah.
Um, Feels like maybe indies are having a moment again. I think, there's always kind of this seesaw that swings back and forth. Like, there was this time where I remember seeing this graphic on LinkedIn where it was like holdcos and they were like a whale or a shark or something like that. And then above it, you had indies when it was like a school of fish in the shape of the same, thing. And,
Uh-huh.
there was a moment where like you had a specialty agency for like
Sure.
NFTs and
Yeah,
like
oh my
gaming
gosh,
and
yeah,
esports
sure.
and, you know, uh, disabled creator
Yeah, yeah.
strategy, like whatever. There was
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
an agency for like every tactic and
Right.
every idea. And then I think maybe like clients got a little bit tired of managing 500 relationships and they're like, oh,
Yeah,
like if I go with this thing, I can like have one point of,
sure.
relationship across, or at least like somebody like steering my creative voice from the top and then maybe some, fractional experts along the way.
Right.
But where do you think like the indie game is at the moment? Like, how's it looking for you guys?
I mean, I think it's strong.
Let's go.
I mean, that's right. That's right. I think we're very well positioned.
Yeah.
Zambezi's it's hitting its 20 years,
Oh,
essentially. So, I
congrats.
mean,
That's
thank you.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, long time as an independent, and, I think we're perfectly positioned actually right now. We've already gotten, I wanna say, like, 5 RFPs or so, and it's what,
Just for
February?
this year. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, just to, like, and it's quite some activity, so it's great. Obviously, with all the consolidation that's happening, I think everybody's curious to see, like, where
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 does
the
it
sh
net out?
exactly, where
Yeah.
that all nets out. For us, we're in the mid-market sector, so that what that means is, like, reaching companies at the 200 million to the 2 billion, like, right there is, like, really, like, our strength and our niche, if you will. I think it's just a little too small for the holdcos for the most part. I mean, they're not gonna get, like, the A team. There's just I mean, when you're,
Yeah.
spending, like, 10 million compared to the 500 million of a client, right? I mean, it's different. But for us, that's great. Like, we're
Yeah.
happy to be there. And I would say for, the entire leadership, like, we all came from holdcos and had this amazing experience at, like, different places, but chose to be at an independent shop because we like the mobility, we like the nimbleness, we like being able to make decisions. And so and again, like, I think there's a type of personality that kinda gravitates to this. We're all builders.
Mm,
We all like, making things happen and learning, and also we do the work too. Everybody's, like, thinking about it from a high level perspective, but, we all get our hands dirty type of thing,
yeah.
so
It's not you're not
yeah.
just seeing the partners during the pitch. Like it
Yeah,
stays. You guys stick around on these
exactly, yeah,
tasks.
that's right. You'll see us, like, across the business as well, right? So, I mean, again, from a strategy perspective, that's what I'm pitching. I'm like, "You will see me." Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be around, so and same with the rest of the executive team as well. Yeah.
Any big pitches that you guys or anything that has closed recently that you guys want to talk about?
Well, I can talk about Next.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's exciting. So
Yeah,
Next
yeah.
is a gaming platform.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, and they basically just came out on Fast Company as one of the top innovative companies,
Interesting.
like after Nintendo and
Wow.
EA Sports,
Okay.
and it was third. So
Wow.
they were also sold out after the end of last year. They were the number one toy, one of the biggest toys on Amazon after Black Friday. So yeah, they're doing great. So basically, Next gaming platform, it's like a way to actually move. You know, they have all these like really great licensing between Bluey
So it's kind
and
of
Peppa the
like
Pig.
the early days of like Microsoft Connect, where it's like tied
Sure,
to like movement and kind of
exactly.
like interactive gaming or
Exactly.
body move controlled gaming, I guess maybe is that the best way to think of it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and just with really great games, you know. So they have a great model, and we are working with them right now on a campaign. So we're excited to
Nice.
launch that in June of this year.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Sounds fun.
yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about agency marketing. So, one of the things that I think arose out of COVID was, agencies for a long time got a pass on not doing their best work for themselves because it was kind of like, well, we're so busy doing it for clients. How could we ever do it for ourselves? And
Yeah.
then, when the COVID hit, it was like, okay, well, we're not going to conferences. We're not doing the traditional biz dev process. We're not pitching in rooms. We're not getting to build relationships and do the chemistry test and do
Sure.
a lot of the things that we used to get to do. So a lot of agencies were being, at least initially, evaluated on like what are they doing to create
Mhm.
marketing for themselves? How are they getting their name out there? Um, you guys obviously lean heavy into the female owned,
Mhm.
like which I think
Sure.
is important.
Yeah.
As a person who spent 9 years at a female owned
Mhm.
agency, one of the crazy statistics that I learned was, you see a lot of like female empowerment content from the Fortune 500
Mhm.
from the leadership, but only 1% of agencies are owned by females that actually support those companies.
Mm.
Why do you think there's such a disconnect between like leadership in Fortune 50 saying, female empowerment, but then
Right.
when they actually come down to procuring agencies, it doesn't seem to show up in their P&L.
Oh, man, that's a question. Uh, geez. Well, I think there's a lot of factors that go into that. You know, I think for one, you know, I don't wanna go into, like, the who you know type of thing, you
Sure.
know, but I mean,
Yeah.
that definitely,
There's a little bit of a
you
good
know.
old boys club
Yeah, and
section.
I
Yeah.
think that's still like, look, I mean, I think it's normal, like, in the
Yeah.
sense of, like, when I interview or I talk to people, who I know first is who I, reach out to type of
Mhm.
thing and who you trust. So I do think there's a bit of that going on. I actually do think, well, I guess actually I can just say, like, the another thing that, like, Jean, our CEO, is doing, she created this thing called Own It with a few other independent, creative agency female owners, and
Yep.
so it's like a consortium, and they're actually having an event actually in 2 weeks in Chicago,
Wow.
and
Very
it's
cool.
sold out.
That's
And
awesome.
every year, it was like 100 people, it's like 200 plus people,
Yeah.
and then,
It's
like, yeah,
become
it's
quite a big thing
exactly.
now.
Yeah, so it's basically just, a way for women to get support who own these businesses, and it's a way for them to, like, like, find way 'cause it includes, like, accounting, like, if your lawyers, like, all the things that it takes to, like, run a
All the
business.
support
Exactly, all
as
the support
well.
that's
Yeah.
needed, and so I think that's, like, an answer, if you will, to some of the things that are happening just to get more support. Um I mean, as for why, I mean, I think there's so many factors into that. I don't think I'm gonna, like, be able to find that answer
You
really,
probably won't
but
be able to solve it on this
yeah.
podcast, but at
Yeah.
least I think, I don't know. I feel like as someone who worked for a female-owned agency, for 9 years and had a really great experience there, I feel like it's res shared responsibility to at least drive awareness about it
Sure, of
whenever I
course. Yeah,
can,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
I love it. All right, so, if somebody were to, approach you as a consultant or brand wanted to, to potentially work with you guys, what would you say is like the main way that you guys differentiate Zambezi in the ecosystem of so many options
Sure.
when it comes to hiring an agency? What would you say is your guys' secret sauce, so to speak?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I would say, I mean, this comes back to like our marketing, if you will, like,
Sure.
like trying to
Yeah.
figure out like how do we spend time to better understand like who we are and how we separate ourselves in the market. I think it's a few things. I mean, one of the first things to say is like we build billion-dollar brands essentially. So if you're on the path and you're in the mid-market sector and you're like, I've got this great product, but how do I help from a branding perspective, like from a filter perspective? That's definitely like one of the things that, that's great for us. We always say that we build like enduring creative and media ideas. So the fact that we're fully integrated, I think, is a huge sell. And not just from a sell, like you can see it from the product perspective. That's something that's very big for us. And I can also just say from the media side, like we really believe like ideas over inventory. Like
I
I
love
think
that.
that's like a really big
Yeah.
push for us because I mean that essentially is our essence,
Yeah. You
right?
got to have a strategy with your media. It can't just be,
Exactly.
it's not just a lever that you go throw inside of a platform.
Yeah.
It's a strategy, and it
Exactly.
needs thought before you just start running it. Because there's
Exactly.
so many options. There's so many places that could work and it might work, but how do
Right.
you find that sweet spot?
Right. And we do believe that media is a creative force, right?
Yeah.
It's like the way you think about media, right? Whether it's the ideas and like how we go about it. So, I would say that that's like a big part for us. And everybody comes to us from our media strategy and then for these creative media ideas,
Love
so
that.
ultimately like across the board that like that's the case. So, I can say that from the media side. And then I just think like from an agency perspective, really like our integration and like our speed in which we can move things and then just being independent. Like I think that just kind of embodies and being female owned, like the ability to like just very collaborative and really put out like our best work essentially.
I love
And
it.
I think it's like, these are things that agencies say, but I think these are things that we do,
Yeah,
like if you
yeah.
will. So
It's
it's like how
sometimes
yeah.
it's one thing to say, it's one thing to back it up with
Right,
results, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think a good place to also spend a little bit more time. We talked at the beginning of it's kind of, I really do like that the beginning of the interview started off with a not just like, like here's my career, but here's how I made it
Oh,
happen coming right
yeah.
out of school.
Yeah, sure.
Statistic I just saw is that 24% of last year's graduating class is unemployed right now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I know. I heard about that.
It's a little bit tough out
Yeah.
there for kids to find gigs. I had my college intern from Berkeley reached out and she's like, I still haven't found anything, could really use
Wow.
your help. So I committed to her. I said, hey, look, I'll do a 15-minute call with you every single week.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
and
great.
I want you to go through my LinkedIn and ask for 3 introductions
Right.
every single week, and I'll
That's
make
right.
those intros.
Oh, wow. That's
And I saw
great.
one of them, she's got an interview for kind of their, like, summer intern, like, summer
Right.
internship program, which is awesome. So it's
Yeah.
already 2 weeks in, it's already
Yeah.
proving results for her. But, the place that AI is having the most impact is, like, the front line, right?
Mhm.
Like, we used to call these grunt jobs or
Yeah.
entry-level jobs, and they weren't always the most glamorous, and they were usually the boringest things because they were kind of data entry slash
Yeah.
things that kind of felt like, a little bit mundane and
Right.
repetitive and task oriented. And that's sadly, unfortunately, where AI, I think, is coming first.
Yeah.
What's your guys' take on like AI as it pertains to workforce displacement? How do you shepherd the next generation of creative stewards
Mm.
who can kind of come into the industry and grow when they don't maybe have some of the foundational, like, weightlifting
Right.
tasks that kind of got people prepared. But how are you guys
Right.
thinking about AI from the perspective of like workforce displacement and creative shepherding the next generation?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I guess the first thing I would say, just as a hopefully this is hope, even for like for the new graduates, I'm like, there's always an opportunity somewhere,
Yeah. Mhm.
right? And like when I graduated, it was not necessarily in this case, but it was also a downturn,
Yeah,
and
it was.
everyone was just like,
Everyone
it's
was
going to be very
stressed.
difficult to find a job. It's so stressful. Da, da, da. And I just like, you know what? I literally couldn't hear it anymore. Like I would just ignore it when people started talking that, I would just be like, "I can't wait till I find my" like, I would literally just tune them
There's
out.
a
It's yeah,
mindset situation, or you kind of can you can kind of create a spiral for yourself. Because if you're showing
exactly.
up for these informational interviews or even real interviews, and that's the story you're telling yourself in
Right.
your head, that's not setting you up to be confident
No,
and
not at
present the best
all.
example of yourself in
Yeah,
those
so
interviews.
I guess I just was like, "Okay, look, people get promoted, people move, people, for better, whatever. There's all these reasons, like, there's companies are just made up of a bunch of people, and people are not static. So they're shifting, and
Yeah,
so, like, all I need is one opportunity.
yeah,
I don't need 1,000 of them. I don't need, like, I don't need 10 whatever. I just need one.
yeah,
I need one yes that I say yes to and they say yes to, and then I'm gonna be alright. So,
yeah.
I think at least that was helpful for me
Yeah.
going into the
I
market,
think
you
it's a great
know?
mindset situation. Like, yeah, like you don't need to be expecting like negotiating multiple offers.
Yeah.
Like get your foot in the door at any cost
Yeah.
necessary.
Yeah, and I also just think, same thing with COVID. It's kinda like, where did you land on that? There was winners and there was not winners,
Yeah.
right? And so it's like, how do you just get to that side is how I see it. So I think, like, with I mean, learn it,
Embrace
right?
it.
Embrace it, like, it is a part of what it is, and yes, like, maybe the data entry and all this other stuff, like, may be where most people used to would have started, but learn AI with it. Like, like, be like, "This is what I did with AI." Like, if you can show up to an interview and you're proactive about things, and I think you can show, like, what you've done, I feel like that's a start, right?
Almost you can almost build a portfolio now easier than ever. Like, even as a biz dev guy, I've always had these ideas rattling around in my head of like, oh, if I had 20 grand to do a video about my consultancy, here's what it would
Yeah.
look like.
Yeah.
But knowing that I probably wouldn't invest that kind of money,
Right.
as a small business owner. And on the weekends, I just make that stuff now. I mean,
Yeah.
some of it's never pretty enough to like put out anywhere, but at
Yeah,
least I'm
sure.
like flexing that creative muscle and
Sure.
trying things,
Yeah.
so everybody has the chance
Yeah.
to be creative if they want to try.
Yeah, I think so, and I think, and then I think, like, learn what it would be, or I think the at least the easiest from my perspective is, like, what are you interested in doing? Like, if you really love, I don't know, photography or business or whatever it is, and then just, like, if you were to create a fake project, like, as if you were in school or something, and then just, like, start using AI with it, because I think if you're interested in something, you'll just naturally use the tool to help you solve a problem versus, like, "Oh, I need to learn this certification," or whatever, like, I think if there's something that there's some problem that you feel like you can help solve and use AI to do it, I feel like that, A, would be more interesting, and B, like, that's a great story once you actually figured out how to use it to help get to, whatever problem you're trying to solve. So I feel like, yeah, embracing it is huge. I'm actually gonna be speaking at USC next week,
Oh, let's go.
so
Little
although
plug.
I'm a Bruin, but you know what? It's
They
fine.
won't bring their banana peels to throw on stage, I don't think. Or what do
Yeah.
they do it? I forget. What are they? We threw tortillas at UCSB. What'd they throw at UCLA?
Hopefully love.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, so, I've been thinking a lot about it, what to say, and, yeah, like, because I don't know, I guess I'm an optimist at the end of the day, and,
Yeah, you have
you
an
know
inspiring story. I like it.
thanks, trying.
Let's go.
Yeah,
All right. Well, thank you for spending an hour with the audience. Thanks
sure.
for being open and excited to have met you and got to get
Yeah,
you onto the show and give the audience a little bit of your insights and a walk down memory lane.
sure.
So, if folks at home
Mhm.
want to follow along with your thinking or potentially reach out and get in touch with you at Zambezi, where do you want to send folks to?
I would say LinkedIn is the best, you
Nice.
know,
Okay.
Grace, last name Teng.
And we will link
Yeah,
to that in the show notes so there's no confusion.
yeah.
And on that note, thank you everybody at home. If this is the first time you're seeing the show, don't forget to give us a follow or a
Mhm,
subscribe. If you are listening to the show, a honest review on whatever podcast platform that you happen to be listening on is how we find a larger audience organically. And if there's a young person out there somewhere, or maybe somebody in media buying land, or maybe a brand marketer who is thinking about looking for an agency that can punch about their wave class and create that kind of market value in the world, don't forget to share the show. And with
mhm.
that, we will see you all again shortly. Thank you so much. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks.
Ciao.
Alright.